Many York Region sellers are still not getting it. I'm going to talk about that in the latest Home Prices and Insights for York Region for week ending February 22, 2023. So what do I mean sellers are not getting it? And not every seller. Many are doing phenomenal. They get out there, they get onto the market, the house shows great. But I'm talking to the ones that are on the market right now and have no chance of selling. These sellers many times a lot of them were on the market in the last quarter of last year, and they were high. They were too high. They weren't getting any showings, or few and far between. Maybe had some offers, and they considered every offer lowball offer, where maybe in reality the lowball offers weren't such lowball offers, but the sellers believed they were and said, no, we're not selling. So this year, some of those sellers that couldn't sell at the end of last year, I've seen they've come on the market. And with clients, we've gone to look at some of them. I've interviewed with some of these sellers that were maybe thinking of selling this year and they tried last year. And their mentality is they're prepared to come down, but not enough. That's the problem. They're coming down from a point where they were already too high, so they figured if they come down a bit, at least they're coming down, and it's just not enough. And you still see them sitting there, and I don't understand why this is the mentality. If you're going to be on the market, the idea is to sell, and you should know before you go on the market, really, what should you be selling for? What's realistic? And if you're happy with that number, then go on the market. If you're not happy with that number, what's the point of being on the market if nobody's going to buy your home? It's a chore to be on the market. It's a lot of work. And what I find is a lot of these sellers that are on the market and not selling, their agent doesn't really give a crap. You call, you figured they've been on the market so long, you ask the agent, what's the square footage? They don't even know. And they've been on the market for months. It just drives me crazy why some of these agents or some of these sellers really think that the market is so much different in York Region. The fundamentals are still there. You will see a house sitting on the market, then another home come on the market and sell relatively quickly at what we would consider fair market value based on other sales that happen in that neighborhood. But that one property is still sitting there. The seller believes everybody else undersold. It's nuts. And some of these people are going to learn the hard way, and eventually they're either going to come off the market or they're going to sell at a price that makes sense. If you get value out of this video, please consider subscribing. If you think this video can help somebody you know, pass it along. Let's get into the numbers. If you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, we've made it really simple. Below this video in the description is a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you. This way I'll know ahead of time and I'll make sure I'm available so we can talk about whatever's on your mind. So the way I was talking about some of the sellers earlier, I just want to be clear. Many sellers doing a phenomenal job. Their home shows great. It's priced the way it should be. The realtors are marketing the homes phenomenally. Sales are happening. It's all good. But there's some sellers that almost need a reality check. It's like their neighborhood, Vaughan, Richmond Hill, or Markham, it's like they're on another planet and they're going to do whatever they want to do, and they hope the world kind of catches on and still pays them whatever they want, but the world isn't catching on and they're just sitting on the market. Let's get into the numbers. I got to tell you, Vaughan, Richmond Hill, and Markham, some of these numbers don't make a lot of sense. It's like Vaughan, Richmond Hill, Markham doesn't want to follow market fundamentals, it almost seems sometimes. So let's have a look here. 20 detached properties were sold for Vaughan, 5 of those were at $2 million or more. This is for week ending February 22. Now, we would be expecting sales to be increasing as we head closer to spring. It's not at all what's happening. We did go up, and now sales are coming down, kind of the opposite of what we would expect. Average sold price is sitting at $1,749,000. 1,749 is 25% lower than where the average sold price was a year ago. The median price is 27% lower than where the median price was a year ago. Looking at this year, so the green line here, that's kind of the cutoff between last year and this year. The dotted line, the blue and the orange, those are the 4-week moving average lines for median price and for average sold price. Median price looks like the median price has been increasing this year. Average sold price has been trending down this year. So it's kind of like opposites. Sales were, quite a bit off the pace, less than half of what we were selling last year at this time. But of the 20 that did sell, 40% sold at list price or more. So some of the properties, there's competition out there. Others are just sitting there, and others are being sold regular, like a regular type of market would sell. Listings. We were increasing listings of detached properties, but now listings have come down. We listed only 36 detached properties for week ending February 22nd. Months of inventory this year was coming down, and now it's trending up. We're sitting at 2.2 months of inventory. Here's Richmond Hill. 18 detached properties were sold. 4 of those were at $2 million or more. And Richmond Hill, as far as sales go, generally speaking, has been increasing this year, which is kind of normal. Average sold price sitting at $1,915,000. $1,915,000 is only 8% lower than where the average sold price was a year ago. Now, in many markets across the GTA, the difference year over year in average sold price is in the high teens, is in the high 20s for some areas. Richmond Hill, only 18% lower. The median price of $1,750,000 is 3% lower than where the median price was a year ago. Median price been trending down this year. Average sold price also been trending down, but just barely. You could barely notice it using the 4-week moving average line. Of the 18 that sold, 9 of those, half, 50% sold at list price or more. Listings way off the pace from last year, and months of inventory down from the previous 2 weeks, sitting at 1.9 months of inventory. Here's Markham. 21 detached properties were sold. 2 of those were at $2 million or more. I can't kind of figure out if there's a pattern with sales. It's only, 21 were sold the previous week, 16, then 22, 23, 15, 17. Are they increasing? Are they decreasing? Are they staying flat? It's hard to tell. Average sold price, though, came way down from the previous week, sitting at $1,573,000. The previous week, though, we had 6 properties selling at $2 million or more. This week we had only 2, the previous week, did I say we had 6 properties selling at $2 million or more? This week we had 2 properties selling at $2 million or more. So average sold price of $1,573 is 22% lower than where the average sold price was a year ago. Median price of $1,560,000 is 16% lower than the median price a year ago. Looking at the trend this year so far, median price been trending upwards. Average sold price for Markham been trending upwards. Here's looking at sales, and I put, okay, so in blue, what was happening last year, sales increasing, I put in quotes, normal. That's what we would normally expect sales to be going up. Doesn't have to go up every single week, but the trend line should be up. What's happening with sales this year? The red or the orange numbers, it's kind of hard to figure out which way are sales going in Markham. Listings, way off the pace than what we were listing last year at this time. And months of inventory came down, sitting at 1.3 for Markham. It's competitive in Markham. Condos, this is for all of York region. 30 condos were sold. None of those were at $1 million or more. Average sold price over the last, since middle of January basically, we've been hovering between a high of 705 and a low of 650 to 660. Right now for week ending February 22, average sold price is $663,000. 663 is 17% lower than where the average sold price was a year ago. The median price of 638 is 19% lower than where the median price was a year ago. Median price, kind of flat. Average sold price, trending upwards, but not by much. 30 were sold, 23%, so less than a quarter sold at list price or more. Listings came down. They were trending up, but for the last couple of weeks, they've been trending down, and there's a big difference for week ending February 22nd from the previous week. 49 were listed this week, the previous week, 83. The previous week, 86. The previous week to that, 93. Big drop in the amount of condo listings. Months of inventory climbed up a bit, sitting at 2.4 months of inventory. Here's a quick summary of months of inventory. Look, months of inventory is still low. Vaughan, Richmond Hill, Markham, detached market, very difficult to explain as to which way things are going, what's going to happen. There's lots of people, lots of sellers kind of stubborn in their prices, like this is what it's got to be, and they're going to sit and they're happy sitting. They got lots of equity. They've made a ton of money on their homes. If they're not going to get their price, they're just not going to sell. And you know what? They're probably right. They're probably not going to sell. And buyers have a different mentality. They're not prepared to just pay whatever. And the fundamentals kind of don't make sense in a lot of situations when it comes to York region. I hope you found this information useful. If so, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.